What's up, my people? This is ShowBizz the dope. All right, man, look. Where you at? You over there. All right, man. Oh. Let's talk Gary Russell. Okay? I spoke about this on my community with my show business partners, but I think it's time for a video. I looked at this many different ways. Let me get this right. I think it's time for a video. And I want you guys to chime in on how you feel about this. Let's start here. Is Santa Cruz ducking Gary Russell? Yes. Yes, I feel that way. I think Gary Russell is a very avoided fighter, okay? Which is why I constantly give Lomachenko love for beating that man. When did Lomachenko beat him? Like his third fight or something like that? People never mention Lomachenko's win over Gary Russell. His third fight pro, or fourth, one of the two. Very early. He beat Gary Russell and one-sidedly, convincingly beat that guy. A guy that everyone's avoiding. So people fail to think about Lomachenko's victory over Gary Russell. But put that aside. He is avoided. He's a boogeyman. He is, okay? For many reasons. The boy can fight. Gary Russell can fight. Crazy hand speed, great power in both hands. He can fight, all right? Arms small, doesn't have the greatest reach in the world, but the guy can fight. Another reason, he's not a guy that you must fight. Well, hold on, wait, okay, hold on. Before I say something that's totally ridiculous, Ring Magazine, all right? Let's look at where he ranks as far as a featherweight. Featherweights, number 1, Leo Santa Cruz. Number 2, Josh Warrington. Number 3, Gary Russell, okay? So you should fight him, but as far as being spoken about every day, not too many people speak about Gary Russell. He's easy to forget about. By design, when you don't give someone an opportunity, of course you can forget about him. Andy Ruiz, now he's on top of the world. He knocked out AJ. If he never got that opportunity, if Big Baby Miller didn't fumble the ball, Andy Ruiz wouldn't be on top of the world right now. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody was talking about AJ versus Wilder, looking past other fighters who all they need is the opportunity. So robbing Gary Russell of the opportunity is exactly why people aren't just speaking about Gary Russell all the time. But he made himself a name by doing what he did with Santa Cruz's father, being very disrespectful. Now, do I find it disrespectful, low, in bad taste? Absolutely. Gary Russell has responded on Barbershop Conversations interview. Fantastic interview by Barbershop Conversations, by the way. So check that out. He said, I wasn't going to do anything to that man, okay? But that's not the point. It's extremely disrespectful. Listen, Gary Russell. If someone were to, let's say someone who speaks Spanish, okay, and assuming that your mother doesn't have a firm grasp, I'm not sure of your situation with your mother or anything, so if me being ignorant on your mother or whomever in your family, let's just say someone you love, okay, if a guy who speaks Spanish put his arms around her or him or someone that you hold dear to your heart and said, I can touch him or her, that goes past boxing. That's very disrespectful, okay? You can care less about boxing at that moment. So admittedly, you should admit that was very low, disrespectful. But the thing is, that's what he intended. He wanted to be disrespectful and low. It got this response. That's what he wanted to do. So I cannot criticize him for doing what he set out to do. Be disrespectful. He did that. Is he being avoided? Yeah. The big thing about Gary Russell, though, is he's not Manny Pacquiao. What I'm saying is Manny Pacquiao, smaller guy, he can eat his way up to welterweight. Not a natural welterweight by any means. barely making the weight. But his boxing ability is so great, he can do stuff at welterweight. He could win at welterweight, be ranked #1 in the world at welterweight. Floyd Mayweather, the same way, not 154-pounder at all. He never made the 154-pound limit, but he can eat himself in the ballpark, and he's so good of a fighter that he can win at 154, never losing at 154. Lomachenko, same way. Lomachenko, he's not a natural lightweight. I mean, he can eat himself up to 135, okay? But natural 135-pounders are sweating and making weight coming down. Lomachenko, he's struggling a bit there because he's not naturally that size, but he boxed so well that he's beating these guys, even knocking out Linares. That's not Gary Russell. Gary Russell is even smaller than that as a grown. He's a little guy. Hey, Google, how tall is Gary Russell?
Gary Russell Jr. is 5 feet 5 inches tall.
Gary Russell is 5'5", and his arms are like, I think his reach is 65 inches or something like that. I mean, this guy, T-Rex, is not the description, all right? So he can't go up to 135 and stuff like. He can fight Tevin Farmer, though. And he mentioned that on Barbershop Conversations. Barbershop Conversation. He mentioned Tevin Farmer. And he said he wouldn't want to fight Tevin Farmer. Like, no disrespect to him, but he's not a big enough name. Well, that's the problem. Everyone's doing that, Gary Russell. People are doing that with you. Y'all got to fight each other. I bring up Andy Ruiz again. If Tevin Farmer doesn't have those fights, no one can see his abilities wouldn't be on display. The guy fights as well as everybody else. Look, if Tevin Farmer and Gervonta Tank Davis would have been a great fight, then Tevin Farmer and Gary Russell is a great fight, okay? A great fight is a great fight. A great fight could put both of you guys on the map. Tank, though, he's moving up, looking for those fights with, those guys lightweights up there with Lomachenko and Luke Campbell and Linares and all those boys up there, Teofimo Lopez, all those boys. He should be going there. But Gary Russell, until guys start coming up, getting more fights. I'm talking about guys like Shakur Stevenson, okay? He's on his way up. Maybe Gary Russell can have a fight with him later. Inu Uwe, right? He has bantamweight. He's on his way, okay? Those are great fights, but Gary Russell needs to be a star now. I get it. He's only fighting once a year because everyone's avoiding him, all right? So I'm admitting that, but I think the whole notion that Tevin Farmer, okay, isn't a big enough name or doesn't knock out enough opponents for you, that's the problem. That's the same concept. That's why you're upset. Tevin Farmer, you should be upset. And Tevin Farmer should be upset too for that way of thinking. For Tank Davis can say, never mind, let me go. That should have been a thing. He should have fought Tevin Farmer, all right? But granted, where Tank Davis is going, there's more action there. It's a very complex thing. And Gary Russell isn't getting the fights. And Gary Russell has the abilities to be a mega star. All right? But with that said, I think some of the responsibility is on Gary Russell too. All right? And though I dislike what he did with Santa Cruz's father, what he did caused this video. What he did got people talking on the net. What he did, you have the interview on Barbershop Conversation. What he did now is in the forefront of people conversing about, hey, what's going on with Gary Russell? Why isn't Santa Cruz fighting him? So he may end up getting what he wants at the end of the day. I just think it was in bad taste. He's definitely going to be the bad guy, but I don't think he cares. Like I always say, bad breath is better than not breathing at all, okay? So Gary Russell, in my opinion, he is the boogeyman right now. He is being avoided, but I think a lot has to do with the fact that he just can't move up in weight like the other guys. He's just too small, man. But I think he needs to be, he should be more willing to take on, and he has taken on guys just to fight guys, but it's still only once a year. I think he should be busier. Just put Errol Spence did the same thing. People were avoiding Errol Spence, and he was just busy. Okay, he wasn't fighting once a year. So I think Gary Russell, I know how he feels about himself, and rightfully so. He is a star when you look at him fight. But I think he should be more willing to be busy regardless. Hey, they don't see you, Gary. But be busy anyway. ShowBizz, the adult. I know I gave like a multi-sided answer to Santa Cruz ducking Gary Russell, and is it Gary Russell's fault? I don't think everything is one way. I think many topics can be seen from many different views, and many times everybody's right. When in the comments below, when you guys are talking, most of you going to be right, even if you guys are disagreeing with each other, because it's just that complex. I'm out.